This is Biology Form 4, Chapter 10, Subtopic 10.3, Mechanisms of Heartbeat. How is blood circulated to whole body? Okay. In every contraction, the heart acts as a pump. We have learned before this three main components of our blood circulatory system. Okay, salah satunya adalah heart. So heart itu jantung kita sebagai pump that pump blood to whole body. Okay, so how heartbeat triggered and sustained? Okay, photograph 10.5. This is cardiac muscle tissue. So our heart is made up of cardiac muscle that intersect and are connected with one another. So this arrangement, okay, intersect and connected with one another, allow electric impulses to spread rapidly through the heart at the same time, stimulates the cardiac muscle cell to contract simultaneously and uniformly. Okay, so our cardiac muscles are myogenic. So what is myogenic? The heart contract and relax without receiving any impulse signal from the nervous system. Maksudnya dia contract and relax by their on their own. Okay, itu maksudnya myogenic. Okay, blood circulations in human. The produced force that enable blood to circulate in humans is generated by pumping of heart and the contractions of skeletal muscle. So, kena ingat, peredaran darah kita ini adalah disebabkan oleh pumping of our heart and also the contractions of our skeletal muscle. Okay, skeletal muscle contraction. So, these are the locations of sinoatrial node, atrioventricular node, bundle of His, and Purkinje fibers. Ini adalah pacemaker, pacemaker. So kita tengok ni adalah left atrium. Di sini left atrium. Okay. Di sini right atrium. So four chambers kan our heart. So di sini right ventricle dan di sini left ventricle. Okay. So di sini adalah sinoatrial node. Okay. Kemudian di sini kita ada atrioventricular node. Ini bundle of His. Okay. Purkinje fibers di sini. Okay. So, kena tahu kedudukan dia sebelum kita go into detail. Alright. So, pumping of the heart. The contractions of heart is initiated and coordinated by pacemaker. Okay, pacemaker. What is pacemaker? Pacemaker is a group of specific heart muscle cell that initiate the rate of heart contraction and is located at the right atrium wall. Okay, so the first one, okay, the first one here, the sinoatrial node SA. Okay, ini dia punya location di mana? Di sini kan? Okay, di sini. Right atrium. Sinoatrial node, this is pacemaker. Generate electrical impulses. Okay, generate electrical impulses. After that, number 2, electrical impulses spread rapidly in both the atria. Maksudnya di kedua-dua atrium. Okay, di kedua-dua atrium. Electrical impulses yang generated by the SA. Okay, dia spread rapidly sampai di kedua-dua atrium kita. Okay, so this will cause the atria to contract simultaneously. So ini yang menyebabkan atrium kita akan contract serentak. The contractions of the atria helps to pump blood into the ventricle. So now kalau daripada atrium di sini turun kepada ventricle. So atrium di sini turun ventricle sebelah kiri. Okay. Okay. So, third one. Third one. The electrical impulses reach the atrioventricular node. Here, the AV node. The electrical impulses spread through the bundle of His, okay, bundle of His, and the Purkinje fibers. And then go to the apex of the heart, bahagian bawah, our jantung. Okay. And then number 4, the electrical impulses spread from the apex of the heart to the whole ventricle wall. Okay, to the whole ventricle wall. So as the result, the ventricle will contract to pump blood out of the lungs and out of the body. Okay. So ini adalah bagaimana pumping of the heart. Dia bermula daripada pacemaker. Okay. Sampailah atrium contract, sampailah ventricle contract to pump out our blood from ventricle to the lungs and to whole body. Okay. So during heart pumping, the loop-tube sound can be heard. Okay, selalunya kalau kita dengar jantung, lagu pun ada, dag-dig-dug, dub-dub-dub, dag-dig-dug, semua lah berbunyi kan when our heart is pumping. Itu heartbeat kan. Okay, so during heart pumping, the loop-dub sound can be heard. So dalam kita punya konteks biologi, kita guna loop-dub. Okay, so what causes this loop-dub sound? This caused by the closing sound of our heart valves. So before this kita sudah belajar jantung kita itu ada valves. Okay? So closing of the valves dia menyebabkan bunyi loop-dub ini. So first one, the first loop sound is produced when the tricuspid valve and the bicuspid valve close. Okay? The first loop sound when tricuspid and bicuspid valve are closed. Second one, the second dub sound is produced when the semilunar valve close. Okay. Contractions of skeletal muscle around the veins. The pumping of the heart helps in the distribution and flow of blood through the arteries, arterioles, and blood capillaries. However, the force produced by the pumping of the heart is insufficient for the blood flow to continue through the veins and return to the heart. So, bagaimana supaya darah kita itu kembali lagi ke jantung? Okay, sebab kalau kita mau pump darah daripada jantung ke seluruh badan, itu adalah disebabkan oleh pumping of our heart. Okay, tetapi bagaimana darah itu kembali lagi ke jantung? Okay, ini dibantu oleh contractions of our skeletal muscle. Okay, the blood is forced to flow against the force of gravity. So, bagaimana? The presence of valve in the veins ensure that the blood flow in one direction only to the heart. So, nasib baik ada valve. Okay, nasib baik ada valve sebab the flow of the blood to return to our heart, dia adalah against the gravity, against the force of gravity. So itulah dia punya fungsi kita punya valve itu, supaya the blood flow in one direction only, no backflow of our blood. Okay. So the blood flow in veins is assisted by contractions of smooth muscle found in the venule and vein walls. The first one. Second one is contractions of skeletal muscle around veins. The contractions of skeletal muscle presses and constrict the veins, causing the valve to open and allow blood to flow towards the heart. Okay, the valve is then closed to prevent the blood from flowing back towards the foot. So inilah yang membantu the blood flow in our veins. Okay, so this one, muscle relax. This is our veins. Okay, open valve, muscle contraction, constrict the vein. So this one is closed valve. Okay. So next one, 10.4, mechanisms of blood clotting. Ini adalah mekanisme pembekuan darah. Apakah keperluan blood clotting ini? Okay, what happen when your finger is injured? Of course lah, blood will flow from your luka itu. Betul? Until we apply pressure directly on the wound. Okay? So the pressure apply may appear to restrict bleeding temporarily. Ini sementara. Okay, however, the blood flow is actually stopped by blood clotting process. Okay, blood clotting process. Kalau kita tutup luka kita, memang mungkin blood flow itu sementaranya akan berhenti mengalir, kan? Tetapi sebenarnya proses kita punya luka itu berhenti mengalir darah, itu sebenarnya ada blood clotting process. Kalau tidak ada blood clotting process, dia akan continue to flow lah. Itu darah. Okay. Blood clotting will stop or minimize the loss of blood on injured blood vessel. Blood clotting also prevent microorganisms such as bacteria from entering the bloodstream through the damaged blood vessel. The blood pressure is also maintained because excessive blood loss will lower the blood pressure to a dangerous level. So what is the mechanisms of blood clotting? So this one, bila kita luka sahaja, okay, bila kita luka sahaja, the coagulated platelets, damaged cells, and clotting factors in the blood plasma will form an activator. So activator di sini adalah enzim thrombokinase. Okay, thrombokinase enzyme. So thrombokinase ini dia akan dibantu oleh kehadiran kalsium ion dan vitamin K. Dia akan convert prothrombin into thrombin. Okay, bila kita luka, semuanya ini apa yang release adalah thrombokinase as activator. With the aid of calcium ion, vitamin K, prothrombin converted into thrombin. What is prothrombin? What is thrombin? Prothrombin ini adalah inactive plasma protein. Thrombin ini adalah active plasma protein. So thrombin ini bila dia sudah aktif, dia akan act as enzyme. Okay, enzyme. So thrombin bila dia sudah aktif, okay, dia catalyze the conversions of fibrinogen to fibrin. So fibrinogen ini adalah soluble and then fibrin ini adalah insoluble. So fibrin is a thread-like protein fiber. Okay, ini insoluble. This one is soluble protein, ini insoluble protein. Forms a network on the wound surface to trap erythrocyte and to close the wound to prevent blood loss. So inilah yang penting lah, fibrin So fibrin yang akan buat ni network pada luka kita surface itu untuk trap kita punya red blood cell dan menutup luka kita dan juga memberhentikan pengaliran darah. Okay, so ini adalah sangat penting mechanisms of blood clotting. Kena ada, ini keyword dia thrombokinase, vitamin K, calcium ion, prothrombin to thrombin, fibrinogen to fibrin, catalyzed by thrombin. Okay. Health issues related to blood clotting. Okay. What happens when blood clotting mechanisms of an individual does not function? The first one, hemophilia. Hemophilia is an example of an illness that prevent blood from clotting. Maksudnya dia punya darah tidak membeku. Okay, hemophilia is a hereditary illness ataupun penyakit keturunan yang disebabkan oleh apa? Lack of certain clotting factor in the blood. Excessive bleeding due to small wounds or bruises can result in death. So remember, hemophilia adalah penyakit keturunan di mana pembekuan darah dia lah prevent the blood from clotting. And then second one here is thrombosis. Thrombosis, formations of a blood clot thrombus. So thrombosis ini adalah dia punya opposite of hemophilia. Kalau hemophilia tadi dia prevents blood from clotting, thrombosis pula ini dia form blood clot. Thrombus, kita panggil thrombus the blood clot. Maksudnya unnecessary blood clot lah. Okay? Unnecessary blood clot. Thrombosis happen as a result of damage in blood vessel or sluggish blood flow that causes clotting factor to accumulate. Okay? Dan yang ketiga adalah embolism. Embolism, when a blood clot is transported by blood flow, the blood clot is called embolus. If the embolus gets stuck in a tiny blood vessel, the blood flow will stop. Okay, so ini adalah macam satu laluan lah. I mean, laluan yang tersekat kan? Tersekat dia punya laluan. Okay, blood clot transported by blood flow. Itu blood clot kita panggil embolus. Kalau stuck di tiny blood vessel lah, itu yang bahaya lah. Bila blood flow gitu stop, dia restricted di situ. Okay, so ini adalah beberapa health issues related to blood clotting. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.